Welcome to the Deep Dive, the show where we peel back the layers of something you interact with every single day, revealing the hidden history, artistry, and engineering that makes it far more fascinating than you ever imagined. Today, we're setting our sights on something incredibly familiar, something that's quite literally at our fingertips multiple times a day. Tableware.
That's right. And when we say tableware, we're talking about the entire symphony of objects that come together for a meal. It's not just plates and forks.
Right.
It encompasses, well, everything you need for serving and eating at a dining table, from the actual dishes themselves to the utensils, the drinking vessels, even things like the tablecloths and napkins. And what's truly remarkable, I think, is how these precise requirements shift so dramatically, based on the food being served, the size of the meal, maybe even the social context.
Yeah, a quick snack versus a big holiday dinner. Very different.
Exactly. It's a field brimming with fascinating layers, reflecting human ingenuity from its, well, most primitive beginnings right up to its most intricate contemporary forms. It's quite a story.
So our mission for you, our curious listener, is to embark on that entire journey with us today. We're going to trace the astonishing evolution of tableware, seeing how basic, sort of utilitarian tools transformed over millennia into objects of immense beauty and sometimes even pieces of high art.
It's quite the transformation.
We'll dissect the diverse materials that give them their unique properties, understand the precise purpose behind their, well, myriad forms, and even decode the often intricate etiquette of setting a table.
We will indeed.
By the end of this deep dive, you won't just be well-informed, you'll hopefully gain a profound, maybe even surprising appreciation for the objects you've always taken for granted. You might look at your own dinner plate in an entirely new light.
That's the goal.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. We throw terms like dinnerware and flatware around interchangeably all the time, right? But if we're going to truly appreciate this hidden world of tableware, we probably need to clarify what these distinctions actually mean.
Yeah.
For an audience like ours who, already knows the basics of dining, why is this precision important? What are the core components that form the bedrock of a deeper understanding here?
That's an excellent starting point because, well, while we all intuitively grasp what a plate is, understanding the specific terminology really does unlock a richer history and a deeper appreciation for the design intent behind these things.
Okay.
So first, tableware. That is indeed that overarching category. Think of it as the grand umbrella term. It covers everything required for serving and eating a meal.
Right, the whole kit and caboodle.
Pretty much. All the dishes, the eating utensils, the drinking vessels, and even the linens. Specific items you'd select from this vast inventory would, of course, differ vastly depending on the occasion. A quick weeknight bite versus a multi-course formal dinner.
Makes sense.
It's less about just functionality sometimes and more about creating a whole experience.
So tableware is the big picture, the entire scene at the table.
Precisely. Got it in one. Next, we have dinnerware. Now, this is also frequently known as chinaware, which is a term that kind of nods to its historical origins and the prestige of imported Chinese porcelain back in the day.
Okay. Chinaware.
Right. Dinnerware specifically refers to the plates, bowls, and cups, essentially. The pieces used to serve individual portions during a meal. It's the canvas, if you like, upon which your meal is presented.
The actual dishes themselves.
Exactly. And these pieces can be crafted from a truly diverse array of materials, each with its own distinct properties. We'll dive deep into these materials later, but for now, just know that we're talking about things like glass, various types of ceramics like earthenware, stoneware, and the more refined porcelain.
Okay. And then there's flatware. Now, I've always heard it called silverware, which, felt pretty straightforward. Why the distinction? Is flatware more correct?
Well, many people still use silverware as the collective term, and honestly, for good historical reason, as these items were often actually made of silver, especially for wealthier households.
Right.
But flatware is arguably a more precise term. It refers specifically to the table utensils used for eating and serving food, so forks, spoons, and butter knives. The name flatware quite literally describes their general design. They are relatively flat, unlike, say, a deep bowl or a pitcher.
Okay, makes sense. Flat.
Exactly. Yeah. Historically, before stainless steel became so common, these tools, particularly for the affluent, were indeed made of silver, hence silverware. And their fundamental purpose was, pretty basic: to scoop, spear, and cut food. Understanding this distinction points to both their form and their function.
Got it. So it's about their physical form, their flatness, but also their functional identity as eating tools.
Exactly right. And finally, beverageware or glassware. This category, as the name suggests, encompasses any vessel or container designed for consuming liquids.
Simple enough.
Well, yes, but it's an incredibly diverse group, ranging from simple, sturdy tumblers for water to delicate, elegant champagne flutes. The key insight here is that each type of glassware isn't just a container, it's often a precisely engineered tool.
Engineered. How so?
Designed for a very specific purpose and setting. Think about a wine glass shape enhancing aromas, or a brandy snifter concentrating them. It's all about maximizing the experience of the drink, whether it's a casual morning juice or a formal evening toast meant to highlight the nuanced aromatics of a fine vintage.
That distinction really is important, isn't it? Because it sets the stage for appreciating the incredible specificity and, well, the evolution we're about to explore.
It does.
You start to see that even a basic cup isn't just a cup. It's a very intentional design, crafted for a specific purpose, often with a long history behind its shape.
Absolutely. Understanding these foundational definitions allows us to truly appreciate the historical journey of these objects and the deliberate choices made by designers and artisans throughout the millennia. It makes you realize that even the most everyday items are steeped in design philosophy, really.
Okay, foundation's laid.
Now that we've established our fundamental terms, let's embark on that journey through time. Because the evolution of eating tools is a truly remarkable story. It reflects not just human ingenuity, but also the changing dynamics of human society, culture, even hygiene.
Right. So going way back.
Way back. In the earliest human interactions with food, tools were, understandably, purely about survival. Our primitive ancestors weren't thinking about aesthetics or table manners.
Just getting the food in.
Precisely. They were focused on getting nourishment. The earliest utensils were crafted from readily available basic materials,
Right.
raw stone, wood, scavenged animal bones. These were basic extensions of the hand, really.
And plates. What did they use before plates?
Well, early plates were often simple things found in nature. Leaves, maybe convenient flat pieces of bread, or even large stable stones, whatever worked.
Oh, bread plates, literally.
Sort of, yeah. And to scoop up food, our prehistoric ancestors ingeniously adapted what nature provided, often using seashells or naturally hollowed out stones. Imagine that primal need just to gather food from a common source and transport it to one's mouth. That was the first design challenge.
Wow.
And these basic tools, surprisingly, were already early reflections of how food consumption was beginning to shape nascent social formations, even if it was just about, distributing a kill fairly.
The beginnings of sharing a meal.
Exactly. As human civilizations began to form, grow, and progress, so too did their approach to dining. This led to a significant leap forward, the advent of more sophisticated tableware.
Okay, moving beyond just survival tools.
Right. Ancient civilizations began to devise a wider range of utensils, no longer just for survival, but to enhance the efficiency of food preparation, its aesthetic presentation, and, critically, the communal dining experience itself.
The social aspect becoming more important.
Definitely. It was during this period that three distinct categories of tools clearly emerged, laying the groundwork for how we organize our kitchen implements even today. You had tableware, our focus today, including things like spoons, knives, early forks, chopsticks in some regions, bowls, and plates.
Right.
Then you had cooking utensils like pots, pans, early stoves for transforming raw ingredients.
Right.
And finally, drinkware, things like jugs, cups, and rudimentary tea sets. This marked a significant societal step beyond mere sustenance into a more organized, communal, and increasingly refined approach to meals.
And what about the actual innovation in the individual eating utensils themselves? We talk about spoons and forks. How far back do these primary tools actually go? What's the timeline for their widespread adoption?
The timeline of utensil innovation is truly fascinating and often surprising. The humble spoon, often considered the oldest refined eating utensil after our own fingers, made its appearance remarkably early, around 8,000 years ago.
8,000 years. Wow.
Yeah. Its prehistoric evolution is quite ingenious, starting with simple shells, which were later attached to sticks to provide a handle, laying the fundamental groundwork for the flatware tool we recognize today.
A shell on a stick. Simple, but effective.
Very. This seemingly modest innovation played a monumental role in human development. It made it significantly easier to consume softer foods, porridges, or liquids, which expanded dietary options and probably even improved nourishment.
Wait, so you're telling me we were carefully scooping with spoons 8,000 years ago? That's mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is pretty amazing.
And then to realize that individual eating knives and forks, as we know them, came around 7,000 years ago.
Roughly, yes. Though their forms were quite different initially.
And chopsticks, an iconic utensil globally, emerged much later, around 3,000 years ago.
Correct.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. That means spoons, knives, and forks were primary eating utensils for thousands of years before the widespread adoption of chopsticks.
That's right, in certain parts of the world.
That actually flips a common perception for some people, who might think chopsticks are ancient in comparison to forks. Yet the archaeological record paints a different picture of concurrent, but distinct evolutions in different parts of the world. It wasn't a linear progression everywhere.
It's a fantastic point, and it perfectly highlights the long, independent, and parallel evolution of dining traditions across different cultures. Archaeological evidence actually backs this up. We've found spoons made from bone at ancient sites dating back to the Stone Age in places like ancient China itself, confirming their presence approximately 8,000 years ago.
So spoons were there too early on.
Absolutely. It shows how the immediate needs and available resources drove early innovation in different ways in different places.
Fascinating. Okay, let's talk about some of those specific ancient civilizations. How did their dining customs reflect this evolution?
Okay. Let's delve into some specific ancient civilizations and their unique dining customs, because they truly underscore how deeply ingrained tableware became in social life and how it reflected the values and hierarchies of the time. The ancient Egyptians, for instance, were renowned for their lavish feasts and really quite elaborate table settings. For them, dining wasn't just about sustenance. It was an incredibly important social and ritualistic event.
A big deal.
A very big deal. They took immense care in preparing and presenting their meals, often for large gatherings. A notable detail is that each guest was meticulously provided with a linen napkin, a surprising touch of refinement for the time, wouldn't you say?
Linen napkins. That is surprisingly refined.
And a set of rudimentary utensils, which included spoons, knives, and even early forms of forks. And, as you might expect in such a stratified society, there was a clear distinction based on wealth.
Status symbols.
Always. The affluent dined with utensils crafted from precious materials like gold or silver, while the less wealthy relied on more common bronze or copper implements. So, right from the start, your tableware was a potent status symbol.
So even back then, what you ate with and how you ate was very much a marker of your place in society. It speaks volumes about the importance they place on these communal rituals.
Absolutely. Moving on, the ancient Greeks. They were celebrated for their profound love of food and their extravagant feasts, often called symposia.
The symposium, philosophy and food.
Exactly. These weren't just meals. They were deeply ritualistic social events that combined dining with philosophical discussion, music, poetry. Guests would recline on couches called klein, arranged around low tables, a departure from sitting upright on chairs.
Reclining to eat. Sounds comfortable.
Perhaps. While the sources don't detail their specific individual eating utensils as much as the Egyptians, the emphasis on the ritual of dining and the communal nature of the symposia suggests a more, shall we say, hands-on approach to eating. Perhaps utilizing bread as scoops or taking individual portions from larger shared platters.
Less focus on individual cutlery.
It seems so. The focus was less on individual cutlery and more on the collective experience and intellectual exchange. This reflected their societal values, where intellectual discourse was arguably as important as physical nourishment.
Interesting how the dining style reflects the culture.
Very much so. Then we arrive at the Middle Ages. This period saw a crucial, albeit slow, development for one of our core utensils, the fork.
The fork's big moment.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Eventually is right. For centuries, most Europeans ate primarily with knives, which were used for cutting and often for spearing food directly to the mouth, and spoons for liquids or soft foods. Hands were also perfectly acceptable, of course.
The knife point express.
You could say that. Initially, large forks with two flat prongs were used primarily for serving meat from a communal platter, not for individual eating. Kind of like carving forks today.
Right.
But gradually, smaller, more refined eating forks began to be developed. This was a significant transition because these smaller forks slowly but surely replaced the traditional pair of pointed table knives that had previously been used for individual eating.
Why pointed knives? Just for spearing?
Partly, yes, and also just general utility, but this shift towards forks was a long, often resisted transition. Some even viewed the fork as, well, effeminate or unnecessarily fussy.
Really? Anti-fork sentiment?
Oh, yes. But this shift marked a gradual but profound change in personal dining habits, moving towards more refined and less direct interaction with food, paving the way for the more genteel table manners that would later emerge.
That's a huge evolution, isn't it?
Yep.
Going from essentially stabbing your food or eating with your hands to gracefully spearing it with a fork. It truly highlights how dining became less about pure sustenance and more about presentation, ease, and indeed, social decorum.
Absolutely. It's a fascinating indicator of changing social norms.
And speaking of evolution, let's talk about the material shifts that truly revolutionized tableware in recent centuries. These weren't just minor upgrades. They often reflected massive societal and industrial changes, didn't they?
Indeed. The materials themselves tell a fascinating story of innovation, practicality, and even the democratization of elegance. Initially, pottery was the foundational medium of choice for dinnerware. Clay plates were molded and then fired, creating relatively durable and practical surfaces for serving food.
A big step up from leaves and stones.
A huge step, offering a reusable, more hygienic option. As crafting techniques advanced, other ceramic materials became common. These included different forms of earthenware, stoneware, and the more refined bone china or porcelain.
Okay.
The truly crucial development here, though, was the widespread use of glazes. Those glassy coatings applied to ceramics. Incredibly important.
Why exactly? Just for looks?
Looks are part of it, but the practical benefits are huge. Glazes make the ware impermeable, meaning liquids can't seep into the porous clay. This prevents staining and bacterial growth.
Hygiene.
Crucial.
Very. They also reduce the adherence of pollutants. And perhaps most importantly for daily use, they make the dinnerware much, much easier to wash and keep clean. This why behind glazes is a key reason for the enduring popularity and widespread adoption of ceramics.
So the glaze wasn't just for a shiny finish or decoration. It was about hygiene and practically transforming ceramic into something that could be truly reusable and cleanable, setting the stage for more widespread use. Precisely. It transforms ceramic from merely functional to both functional and easily maintainable on a mass scale. Fast forward to the late 1700s and early 1800s, and we see stoneware becoming incredibly versatile.
Stoneware? That sounds sturdy.
It is. It was used for a wide variety of practical purposes. This included large crocks for storing food, jugs for holding liquids, even chamber pots. Its robustness made it ideal for such utilitarian uses.
Right.
As the 19th century progressed, stoneware really started to gain popularity as everyday dinnerware sets, especially in America. It moved beyond just storage into regular meal service. Its durability and lower cost compared to porcelain made it a workhorse for the burgeoning middle class.
The everyday hero material.
You could call it that. Then, in the late 1800s to the mid-1900s, sterling silver flatware was absolutely at its zenith, the height of fashion.
The ultimate status symbol.
Absolutely. It was the epitome of elegance, status, and luxury. Widely desired for its exquisite beauty, its satisfying weight, and the prestige it conveyed. Owning a sterling silver set was a significant investment and a marker of refinement. Lots of polishing, though.
Oh, I bet.
However, the game changer arrived in the early 1900s. Stainless steel flatware appeared.
Ah, the modern standard.
Pretty much. This material quickly became the most common choice due to its superior durability, its affordability compared to silver, and its remarkable ease of care, no more endless polishing. It forever changed the landscape of everyday dining, effectively democratizing elegance and bringing a touch of refinement to nearly every household.
Now that we've journeyed through history, seeing how tableware evolved from primitive tools to refined pieces, let's hone in on the very fabric of our meals, the materials. So what does this all mean for the dinnerware we use today? What are the practical implications of choosing one material over another for your plates and bowls beyond just, how it looks?
It's a great question, and it speaks to both aesthetics and functionality in your daily life, and even the kind of lifestyle you lead. Let's break down the common materials for dinnerware, highlighting their characteristics and ideal uses, and perhaps even some quirks.
Okay, let's do it.
First, earthenware. This is a ceramic material that has been glazed and then fired at relatively lower temperatures compared to others. Visually, it often has a thick, heavy, and somewhat rustic look. It's charming, often used for hand-painted designs or artisan pieces. Think of that cozy, slightly chunky mug you love.
Yeah, I can picture it. Cozy.
While it can be very appealing, particularly for a casual, warm aesthetic, it does have some practical downsides. It's generally not as durable as other types of dinnerware and is more prone to chipping.
Ah, the dreaded chip.
Indeed. Crucially, earthenware is often porous, meaning if the glaze is compromised, say, by a chip or maybe not perfectly applied, it could stain or absorb liquid, which might lead to issues with hygiene over time.
So beautiful, but maybe a bit more fragile and high maintenance for everyday banging around. I can picture a red wine stain on a chipped earthenware plate right now.
Exactly. Handle with a bit more care. Then we have stoneware. This material is fired at a higher temperature than earthenware, and it often includes vitreous, or glass, material mixed into the clay to enhance its strength and impermeability.
Stronger then.
Yes. It tends to be thicker and more opaque than finer materials like porcelain, giving it a satisfying heft. Stoneware is incredibly versatile and easy to maintain, making it a true workhorse suitable for casual, everyday place settings.
And the practical benefits.
A significant practical advantage is that most stoneware is microwave safe, dishwasher safe, oven safe, and freezer safe. This makes it incredibly convenient for modern living, heating leftovers, baking a small dish, or simply storing food right in the bowl.
That's a huge plus for busy households, isn't it? It sounds like the reliable everyday hero of dinnerware.
It truly is very practical. Next, there's porcelain or china. This is made from fine particle clay, often including kaolin, and fired at even higher temperatures, sometimes multiple times.
Higher temps again.
Right. The result is an extremely durable and non-porous material. Porcelain is often quite thin and delicately constructed, sometimes even having an almost translucent appearance, allowing light to pass through. It's quite beautiful.
Delicate but durable. Seems contradictory.
It does, but the high firing process creates a very strong, vitreous body. This elegance makes it especially suitable for more formal occasions or those moments when you want to elevate the dining experience. And contrary to popular belief about its delicacy, most fine china is also dishwasher, microwave, and oven safe.
Really? I wouldn't have guessed microwave safe for fine china.
Mostly, yes. Always check the manufacturer's instructions, of course, especially if it has metallic accents like gold or platinum rims. Those are usually not microwave safe.
Good tip. I always thought of china as super delicate, something you only bring out for holidays, so it's interesting to hear it's also quite durable. Is it still mostly reserved for formal settings, or are people incorporating it more into everyday life now?
That's a common misconception about its fragility, and its durability at such thinness is a testament to the high firing temperatures. While its aesthetic often lends itself to formal use, increasingly people are mixing and matching using cherished china pieces for everyday moments to bring a touch of elegance to their routine. Why save the good stuff, right?
Exactly. Use the good china.
Then we have glass dinnerware. This is particularly popular for formal dining situations because of its sparkling, elegant appearance. And it does a beautiful job of showcasing the colors and textures of the dishes themselves.
See-through plates can be cool.
They can.
Refill.
While perhaps less common for everyday robust use than stoneware or even some porcelain, glass dinnerware certainly adds a touch of sophistication and brilliance to special occasions.
Okay. And what about outdoor dining or kids?
For that, there's melamine. This material is a type of hard plastic that is ideal for outdoor entertaining, picnics, or for families with young children.
Right, the unbreakable stuff.
Pretty much. Its key qualities are that it's remarkably lightweight, incredibly durable, and highly resistant to breakage. It practically bounces. You'll often see it used for backyard barbecues, poolside parties, and casual gatherings where you want something robust, easy to handle, and safe from unexpected drops.
That makes perfect sense for a backyard barbecue or for little hands.
Uh-huh.
Now that we've talked about dinnerware, those canvases for our food, let's shift focus to flatware, the tools we use to navigate those meals. What are the modern staples and what are the choices when you want to go a bit more high-end or specialized?
Excellent transition. Because flatware materials also have their own specific compositions and engineering that dictate their best use, and even their feel in your hand is not just about looks.
Right.
The most popular and arguably ideal type of cutlery for regular usage is stainless steel flatware. It's the everyday champion, really.
Yeah.
But even within stainless steel, there are important grades based on their chromium and nickel content, which significantly impact their properties. It gets a bit technical, but it's important.
Lay it on us. 18 what now?
Okay, so first you have 1810 stainless steel. This contains 18% chromium and 10% nickel. This composition makes it highly durable, exceptionally resistant to rust and corrosion, and gives it a beautiful, highly lustrous, almost mirror-like finish. It's considered top tier for its strength and appearance, often found in fine dining establishments and high-quality home sets. The nickel adds that shine and extra corrosion resistance.
1810. Top shelf.
Got it. Then 188 stainless steel. This has 18% chromium and 8% nickel. It's also very durable and corrosion resistant, a fantastic everyday choice. It might be slightly less lustrous than 1810 due to the lower nickel content, but it's still an excellent, reliable option. Very common.
Okay, still really good.
Next, 180 stainless steel. This contains 18% chromium but 0% nickel. A key characteristic of this grade is that it is notably magnetic.
Magnetic. Why does that matter?
Well, it makes it suitable for use with magnetic flatware retrievers. You see these in commercial kitchens sometimes. They use a magnet to quickly collect utensils from dishwashing bins or trash cans to prevent loss. Less shine, more magnetic.
Practical for restaurants.
Exactly. And then there's 130 stainless steel, which contains 13% chromium and 0% nickel. This grade is specifically ideal for knife blades.
Just the blades.
Yes, because it can be hardened to a greater degree than the 18% chromium steels. This allows it to hold a very sharp cutting surface while still offering good rust-resistant properties. This is why a good stainless steel knife can still feel like a precise cutting tool, even if the handle is 1810 or 188.
What's fascinating here is how the seemingly minor variations in the composition of these everyday items dictates their exact performance in specific application. I never realized there were so many types of stainless steel, each engineered for a different purpose. You mentioned the 180 is magnetic. Is that a common practical issue in home kitchens, or is that more of a commercial consideration?
It's primarily a commercial consideration. Imagine a busy restaurant kitchen. They're washing hundreds of forks a night. A magnetic retriever helps prevent accidental disposal in the trash. For home use, it's rarely a concern, unless maybe you drop a fork behind the stove. But it highlights the precise engineering involved.
Right. Okay. Beyond stainless steel.
Beyond stainless steel, we have the more traditional and luxurious options. Sterling silver flatware. Made of sterling silver, which is a precious alloy of 92.5% pure silver and 7.5% copper. The copper adds durability.
The fancy stuff.
Definitely. It is undeniably beautiful, elegant, and carries a significant legacy, primarily used for formal dining occasions and often passed down through generations. However, it requires relatively high maintenance, it tarnishes over time, and needs regular polishing to maintain its gleam. And it is, of course, quite expensive. It's often an heirloom piece rather than an everyday workhorse.
Right. Polishing. No thanks.
Then there's silver-plated flatware. This offers a more accessible route to that classic silver look and feel. This involves a base metal, usually something like nickel silver or brass, that is coated with a thin layer of pure silver through an electroplating process.
Looks like silver, but isn't solid.
Exactly. It still adds a significant touch of elegance and is commonly used in formal settings without the full cost of solid sterling. However, the silver layer can eventually wear off with heavy use or harsh detergents over time.
So not as permanent.
Not quite as permanent. And finally, there's gold-plated flatware. This features a base metal coated with a very thin layer of gold. It is rarely used due to its exceptionally high cost and its delicate nature. The gold layer is very thin and can wear off easily, making it more of a decorative statement piece than a practical choice for regular use. Very flashy, but maybe not for soup.
Probably not. Okay, so that covers the materials. But flatware isn't just about the metal, is it? There's design, patterns.
Oh, absolutely. Moving beyond the raw materials and their chemical compositions, let's appreciate the deliberate artistry and design embedded in flatware. This truly shines through when we look at historical patterns.
Okay.
These patterns aren't just pretty, they reflect the historical periods, social customs, and even practical changes in dining habits. They often signal subtle shifts in etiquette and comfort.
Like fashion trends for forks.
Kind of. For example, the dog nose pattern was very typical for the dining table during the reign of Queen Anne, with most services crafted from the late 1690s to around 1715. It had a distinctive, somewhat flattened, rounded end on the handle, resembling, well, a dog's nose.
Dog nose, okay.
Following that, the Hanoverian pattern evolved around 1710, directly from the earlier dog nose pattern. It was distinguished by a subtle ridge running down the handle and often featuring an upturned end on the spoon or fork. The tip pointed up.
Upturned, why?
Just the style of the time, possibly how they rested on the table or chargers, but that leads us to the next one.
And then came the Old English pattern from the 1750s. Here's where it gets really interesting. It sounds like a subtle change, But from what I understand, it marked a significant shift in user experience.
Mhm.
Was it just about the ends turning down?
It was indeed subtle but profoundly impactful, an early example of user-centric design, really. In the mid-18th century, people began to find the upturned Hanoverian spoon ends and indeed other serving implements maybe a bit awkward and less comfortable to use, especially as dining became more refined.
Ergonomics kicking in.
Exactly. So the Old English pattern subtly changed the rules. The end of the spoons and forks were designed to turn down rather than up. This seemingly minor adjustment made them much more comfortable and practical to hold and use, particularly when resting on the table. It quickly became a widely adopted standard for comfort and ease of use.
That's fascinating. A tiny design tweak for better usability.
It proves that even centuries ago, designers were intuitively solving problems for human comfort, anticipating and enhancing our interaction with the world around us, even with something as simple as a spoon.
Okay, from historical patterns to, well, art. How does tableware become art?
Now let's leap from these historical patterns, which were themselves functional art, to contemporary artists who take the very concept of tableware and explode it, transforming it into high art that challenges our perceptions of what these objects can be. They use tableware not just as a medium, but as a conceptual vehicle.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Who are we talking about?
First, let's consider Cindy Sherman, the iconic American artist born in 1954, renowned for her self-portraits that explore identity and representation. She created a truly remarkable porcelain 21-piece tea or breakfast service for sixes in royal blue.
A Whole Tea Set by Cindy Sherman.
A whole elaborate service, breakfast dessert plates, cups, saucers, teapot, creamer, covered sugar bowl, the works. What's truly remarkable about this is that it was manufactured in Limoges, France, after the original design commissioned by the famous Madame de Pompadour in 1756 at the manufacturer Royal de Sèvres.
Wow, a direct link to historical opulence and aristocratic taste. So it's not just a historical homage, it's almost a reenactment on porcelain.
Exactly. And Sherman's genius comes in the complex, meticulous process of transferring her own image, portraying herself as Madame de Pompadour, onto the porcelain.
Whoa, her face is on the teapot.
Her face as Madame de Pompadour, yes. This involved an astonishing up to 16 photo silk screens for each image. Each tureen and platter was silkscreen and then meticulously hand-painted at the Ancien Manufacture Royale, fired an astonishing 4 times to set the intricate layers of image and color.
That sounds incredibly complex.
It is. And then each individual piece was signed and numbered, transforming a functional object into a rare, limited edition artwork. The aha moment here for us is that this isn't just a fusion of self-portraiture and historical homage. It's a profound commentary on identity, the performance of history, and the very boundaries of what constitutes art when a teapot becomes a canvas for self-exploration and historical critique.
That's amazing. Taking something so traditional, making it entirely her own, questioning history and identity.
Yeah.
Okay, who else?
She takes an object steeped in history and social ritual and infuses it with her own artistic identity, forcing us to question authorship and authenticity. Then we have Pablo Picasso. His boundless creativity and playful spirit often extended far beyond canvases and sculpture into ceramics.
Picasso made plates.
Oh, lots of ceramics. This is particularly apparent in his service poisson, or fish service. This was a vibrant series of round plates he designed in 1963, all working from the same basic model, each approximately 255 millimeters in diameter.
A fish service. Between May 16th and June 21st of that year alone, Picasso, in a burst of creative energy, decorated over 200 plates. 120 of them focusing on the theme of the face, capturing a myriad of expressions and caricatures. Several of these were even turned into editions.
200 plates in a month. Wow. Prolific is an understatement. What's captivating is his visible experimentation with a diverse use of color and glaze, creating variations that truly captured his spontaneous artistic process. Dora Valier, an art historian, beautifully described this, saying Picasso gave free rein to series of variations. It is like looking into painting's own private journal.
That's a wonderful way to put it, almost like his ceramics were a form of sketching in 3 dimensions, a living sketchbook on clay. It makes you wonder why he chose tableware as a medium for this kind of playful exploration.
Precisely. It allows us to see his immediate, almost uninhibited creative flow, perhaps less constrained by the gravitas of a traditional painting. He chose ceramics because they offered a direct, tactile, and immediate way to explore form and color, often engaging with the natural imperfections of the clay itself.
Making the material part of the art.
Very much so. And it wasn't just plates. In 1947, he created a set of 26 ceramics, including a striking Madura tureen made of white earthenware clay, decorated with vibrant engobes and oxides, yellow, red, blue, green, and black, all under glaze. This shows his broad, playful exploration of the medium, pushing the boundaries of what functional art could be.
Incredible. Okay, one more artist.
Finally, let's look at Wiebke Meurer. She's a contemporary artist who is particularly drawn to objects found in traditional place settings, things like spoons, bowls, saucers, teacups.
The everyday stuff.
Yes, but her interpretation of these familiar pieces completely leaves their original function behind. The result is incredibly delicate, often fragmented sculptures that fuse the past and present into new forms.
So not usable anymore.
Not at all. She primarily works with gold and silver, and her pieces are described as impossibly delicate, almost ethereal. They're often reduced to highlight only the most decorative aspects found in traditional silverware design, elevating them to pure aesthetic objects.
So she's taking the essence of the design, the decorative flourishes, but stripping away the utility, leaving us with a beautiful ghost of the object's original purpose. What's her driving philosophy behind this deconstruction?
Exactly. Her philosophy, as she states it, is quite insightful. She says, "I'm fascinated by historical European works of silver, gold, and porcelain. I explore traditional ways to design objects, not to stick to tradition, but because I use tradition as my starting point. I'm not concerned about the restoration of the broken object. I want to deconstruct it, to reach the heart of its integrity and reinvent it, both formally and functionally."
Reinvent it formally and functionally, even if the function becomes purely aesthetic.
Precisely. She's not trying to fix something broken in its utility. She's revealing its core aesthetic, its historical DNA, and then reimagining it as something purely sculptural. Her work makes us question what we value in an object, its function or its form, its history or its reinterpretation. These artists, Sherman, Picasso, Meurer, they fundamentally challenge our perceptions of everyday objects. They elevate tableware from mere functional items to critical reflections on history, identity, and the very nature of art itself. They show us that the boundaries between utility and artistry are far more fluid and permeable than we might initially imagine, turning the dinner table potentially into a gallery.
Now that we've dug into the materials, journeyed through history, and even explored the artistry that transforms functional objects into high art, let's get really practical again. How do all these pieces come together on the table?
Right, back to the table itself.
Because setting a table, especially for formal occasions, isn't just about placing objects randomly. It's an intricate world of table appointments and etiquette, almost like a silent language that speaks volumes about the occasion and the host.
Indeed. It's like assembling a carefully curated cast of characters for a culinary play, where each piece has its specific lines and blocking, if you will. Let's start with the dinnerware characters themselves. Beyond the basic dinner plate and bowl, there's a surprising specificity to many pieces, each with a unique role in the unfolding meal. You'll commonly encounter luncheon plates, salad or dessert plates, bread and butter plates, various soup bowls, cups, saucers, and larger platters for serving.
So many plates.
There can be. Let's get into some specific definitions and uses. A sugar bowl and creamer are small, self-explanatory items. A little pot for sugar, a small jug for cream, often used with coffee or tea service, pretty standard. A demi-tasse is a tiny cup, specifically designed for serving strong, typically dark-roasted coffee like espresso, usually after a meal. It's meant for a concentrated, small portion. Very small.
A little shot of coffee.
Basically. A standard cup is larger than a demi-tasse and is generally used for tea or larger servings of coffee, offering a more comfortable, leisurely sip.
Okay.
The bread and butter plate is a small, flat plate, typically placed above the forks to the upper left of the main setting. Interestingly, while its primary use is for bread and butter, it's also commonly used to serve small desserts or appetizers, showing its versatility.
Multitasker. Kind of. The salad plate is a flat plate, typically smaller than the dinner plate, and specifically used for serving salads or appetizers, ensuring a clean transition to the main course.
Right.
The dinner plate itself is the large central piece of flat or shallow dinnerware designed to hold individual portions of solid food for the main course. It's the anchor of the place setting, the main event.
The star.
And for soup, there are two main types of bowls. The rim soup bowl, which is a shallower, round container with a wide, flat rim, ideal for clear or consommé-style soups, and the deeper, more traditional soup bowl, often without a prominent rim, perfect for creamier, heartier soups that require more volume.
Rim or no rim, depends on the soup.
Exactly. Specificity again.
So what does this all mean for the utensils then? What makes one fork different from another, beyond just its size? It seems like an overwhelming array when you see them all laid out sometimes. That's where the nuance really comes in, and understanding it makes the process much less daunting. Silverware is that collective term for all the utensils used for eating and serving, so called because they were formerly made of silver, but also called flatware or tableware. Knowing the specific types helps you not only set a proper table, but also understand the specific culinary purpose of each tool.
Okay, guide us through the utensil drawer.
Let's look at the tools of the trade. Flatware silverware. The dinner fork is the long tine standard you're most used to. Originally, forks had only 2 tines, which worked beautifully for spearing meat.
Right, the stabbers.
But they weren't so great for softer items like peas, corn, or vegetables. So more tines, typically 4, were gradually added in space to make it easier to capture a wider variety of foods efficiently, reflecting a more diverse diet over time.
Makes sense. More tines for more things.
Then, the salad fork. It's typically smaller than a dinner fork, usually with 4 tines that are spaced farther apart and are shorter in length. It's specifically designed for eating salads, particularly those with larger leaves, as its shorter length allows for easier maneuvering on the smaller salad plate.
Smaller fork for the smaller plate.
Generally, yes. The fish fork and knife are specifically designed to make eating fish easier, particularly when dealing with delicate flesh or bones. The fish knife often has a unique, broader, blunter blade that allows you to separate the fish from the bone without cutting it, preserving the flakes.
Ah, clever. Don't want to shred the fish.
Exactly. In a formal table setting, the fish fork is typically placed on the left and the fish knife on the right. Next, the seafood fork, also known as a cocktail fork. It's distinctive, small, narrow, usually 3-pronged, with very short tines and a long, slender handle, approximately 4.5 to 5.5 inches long.
Tiny fork, long handle.
Right. Its sole purpose is to spear seafood, especially items like shrimp from a cocktail or crab meat from a shell, used in both formal and informal dining. A beef fork, often called a meat fork, typically has 2 long, sturdy prongs. Its specific design is to hold meat steady while carving or slicing, providing stability for large roasts or poultry. Indispensable for a carving station.
The holder.
The holder, yes. The relish fork may have 2 or 3 tines set close together to hold condiments like olives or pickles while allowing any excess liquid to drain away. Sometimes the tines are slightly splayed at the ends to allow the fork to hold more food, making it highly effective for small, slippery items.
To the pickle jar.
Precisely. The teaspoon in a formal setting is usually placed to the right of the knife and any other spoons. It's the multi-purpose workhorse for stirring and sipping tea or coffee, adding loose sugar, or enjoying small desserts like sorbet.
A little spoon.
The essential little spoon. A tablespoon is a large spoon used either for serving dishes from a communal platter or, in some regions, as the largest type of spoon for eating, particularly for soups or stews. Size varies a bit globally.
Serving or eating, okay.
A soup spoon has a large or distinctly rounded bowl specifically designed for consuming soup. It's worth noting the distinction between the more oval-shaped British types and the traditional round-bowled Chinese types. The round-bowled soup spoon was actually a Victorian invention, improving on earlier, flatter designs to better capture and hold broth.
Rounder holds more soup. Makes sense.
It does. And finally, the caviar spoon. This is a special spoon traditionally made of inert materials like animal horn, gold, mother of pearl, or specific types of wood.
Why those specific materials? No metal.
The reason is critical. Metal spoons, especially silver, can react chemically with the delicate oils in caviar, imparting an unpleasant metallic taste. These inert materials, horn, gold, mother of pearl, would ensure that the true, subtle flavor of the caviar is preserved and enjoyed without interference.
Wow. Don't want to ruin the expensive caviar with the wrong spoon.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
It's all about preserving the integrity of the food.
And then, of course, the glassware, not just for simply holding a drink, but designed in such intricate ways to enhance the entire sensory experience, especially for beverages like wine or spirits. You touched on this earlier.
Absolutely. Glassware is a world of specialized design where each vessel is meticulously crafted to maximize the appreciation of the liquid it contains, focusing on aroma, temperature, and even how the liquid hits your palate. It's really quite scientific sometimes.
Okay, let's pour through the types.
Here are some of the vessels of delight, glassware. The Alsace glass originates from the Alsace region of France, known for its aromatic white wines like Riesling. It's unique for its distinctive green stem.
Grain stem. Why?
It's a nod to the region's green vineyards and its traditional use for those wines, offering a visual cue to its heritage. Sort of a regional signature.
Cool.
The Burgundy glass is characterized by its wide, generous bowl and relatively narrow opening. It's specifically designed to direct the wine, typically a delicate Pinot Noir, to the tip of the tongue, allowing the drinker to detect subtle flavor nuances and fruit notes.
Wide bowl, narrow top.
Right. Its broad bowl also encourages the maximum accumulation of delicate, often earthy aromas, which are then concentrated as they rise through the narrower rim. It's about letting the wine breathe and expressing its complex bouquet.
Aroma catcher.
Essentially, yes. The Bordeaux glass, in stark contrast, is typically taller and narrower than a Burgundy glass, with a larger chimney or opening. It's designed for full-bodied, tannic red wines like Cabernet Sauvignon or Merlot.
Taller, wider opening.
Yes. It directs wine to the back of the mouth, which helps minimize the perception of tartness and allows the full spectrum of robust flavors to bloom. Its larger chimney allows for more oxygen exposure, which helps to soften those powerful tannins and develop complex aromas over time. Needs more air.
Different shapes for different wines make sense. What about whites?
A standard white wine glass is typically U-shaped or tulip-shaped,
Huh.
with a narrower bowl and often a longer stem compared to red wine glasses. This design helps preserve the wine's cooler temperature, which is crucial for whites, and also helps to concentrate and deliver their often lighter, more delicate aromas to the nose. Keep it cool, focus the smell.
Okay.
A liqueur glass, also known as a cordial glass, is small and stemmed, designed specifically for serving small portions of potent liqueurs or cordials, meant to be sipped slowly and savored for their intense flavors, just a little bit.
Right.
The cocktail glass, famously, is a stemmed glass with an inverted cone bowl, often called a martini glass. Its shape showcases the cocktail beautifully, allows for easy stirring and chilling, and provides a large surface area for elaborate garnishing, adding to the visual appeal. Very iconic.
The classic V-shape.
That's the one. Sparkling wine glasses can come in various shapes. The short-stemmed coupe, sometimes called a saucer, is a shallow, broad-bowled glass that was very common in the mid-20th century. Legend says it was modeled on Marie Antoinette's breast, but that's likely a myth.
Huh? I've heard that one.
You can also find coupes with long stems now, though they do allow bubbles to dissipate quickly because of the large surface area.
So maybe not the best for bubbles.
For preserving bubbles, the champagne flute is the classic. A stem glass with a tall, tapered, conical, or elongated, slender bowl. It's typically long and narrow with an equally long stem. Perfect for preserving the effervescence of champagne and other sparkling wines, allowing the bubbles to rise gracefully and continuously, enhancing both the visual and textural experience. Keeps the fizz going.
The tall, skinny one. Got it.
A port glass is noticeably smaller than an average wine glass, resembling a small red wine glass. It has a tall bowl, a narrow rim, and a short stem. This design minimizes aeration, which is important for fortified wine like port, and helps balance the rich fruit and aromas while reducing the perception of its higher alcohol content. Makes it a more pleasant sipping experience.
Smaller glass for stronger wine.
Basically, yes. And finally, the brandy snifter, also known as a brandy glass or cognac glass. This is a short, wide-stemmed glass with a relatively narrow top, designed specifically for serving and enjoying brandy. The large bowl lets you warm it with your hand.
The hand-warming thing.
Right. And the tapered opening allow you to swirl the brandy, warming it slightly, which encourages the aromas to collect and concentrate within the glass, providing a rich, immersive olfactory experience. All about the nose.
Beyond the individual pieces, the plates, forks, glasses, there are the accessories that truly set the scene and transform a simple meal into an occasion. The supporting cast, if you will, that creates the ambiance.
Absolutely. The finishing touches are critical for both function and aesthetics, acting as the foundation and decorative elements of your table. Can't forget these.
Like?
Well, the tablecloth. Primarily an ornamental covering, sure, but it also helps protect the table from scratches and stains. It's the first layer laid out before any tableware or food, setting the base color and texture for the entire setting.
The foundation.
Exactly. A table topper is often used in conjunction with table skirts for events, creating an elegant, seamless cover. The skirt covers the perimeter of the table, and the topper, usually made of the same material, covers the top, ensuring a unified look. More for banquets, maybe.
Okay.
Table runners offer both aesthetic appeal and practical qualities. They are narrower strips of fabric that run down the center of the table, visually uniting the centerpiece and decor. Functionally, they prevent staining from food and beverages and protect tables from heat damage caused by hot dishes.
Decorative and protective.
Yep. Placemats have a primary function of protecting the dinner table from watermarks, food stains, or heat damage directly under each plate. They also serve as a decoration, especially those made from lace or silk, adding an individual flourish to each setting. And in some commercial settings, like diners, they can even be used to advertise menu items or local businesses.
The paper ones with ads.
Those too. Table napkins have a simple, essential function: to wipe food and drink from the mouth and to protect clothing while eating. Beyond that, they are a key decorative element, often folded intricately or held by napkin rings. Adds a touch of class.
Folding napkins can be an art form itself.
It really can. A centerpiece is an important display item, usually for a table setting. Centerpieces help set the theme of the decorations, add extra decoration to the room, and serve as a central or important object in a collection of items, drawing the eye and setting the mood. It can be flowers, candles, sculptures.
Focal point.
Right. And speaking of flowers, a flower vase, often decorated, is used simply to hold cut flowers. Vases come in different sizes to support various flowers and generally share a similar shape to hold water, adding natural beauty and fragrance to the table.
Nice touch.
It is. And it's also worth noting, circling back to flatware for a second, that it can be classified by its durability and weight, which informs its best use, particularly in commercial environments.
Oh, right, the weight classes.
Yeah. Forged flatware represents the pinnacle of durability and quality, made from solid stainless steel through a forging process. It's visibly thick, heavy, and shiny. Ideal for both home use, where longevity is desired, and heavy commercial use due to its robust nature and ability to withstand constant wear and tear. Top of the line.
Built to last.
Then medium flatware. Lighter, not quite as tough as forged, still used for home and commercial settings, but more of a value-oriented product, often seen in casual diners or institutional settings.
Okay.
Heavy flatware is an upgrade from the medium class, but still falls below forged in terms of durability and weight. Suitable for applications like fast casual dining, where some robustness is needed, but not the absolute top tier. A good balance of cost and durability.
Middle ground.
And extra heavy flatware is, as the name suggests, an upgrade to the heavy class, but still below forged. You can expect the same qualities as heavy flatware, but with improved performance and durability, providing a more substantial feel in the hand without the full cost of forged pieces. Feels good. Lasts pretty well.
So a hierarchy of heft and durability.
Pretty much. It affects the price and how long it's likely to last under heavy use.
So what does this all mean for you when you're actually sitting down to set a table? We've explored the history, the materials, the art, the specific pieces, the weight classes, but how do we translate all that into practical application? Let's decode the rules of table settings from the most basic, casual approach to the most formal. Knowing these guidelines can really elevate any meal, turning it into a thoughtful experience, right?
Absolutely. It's all about thoughtful presentation and anticipating the flow of the meal. It doesn't have to be intimidating. For a basic or casual table setting, you really have two main, simple options that are perfect for everyday dining. Super easy.
Okay, layout option 1.
First, you can place all utensils on the napkin. Here, you put the napkin to the left of where the plate will go, acting as a base. Then, right on top of the napkin, you arrange the fork, then the knife with its blade facing the fork for safety and courtesy, and finally the spoon, all in that order. Fork, knife, spoon, compact and efficient.
Simple. Fork, knife, spoon on the napkin. Option 2.
Alternatively, you can have the fork resting on the napkin. In this setup, the fork can be placed either on top of or next to the napkin, which is still to the left of the plate. Then, to the right of the plate, you position the knife, again, blade facing inward, toward the plate, and if necessary, a spoon to the right of the knife.
Okay, fork on the left, maybe on napkin, knife and spoon on the right.
Exactly. For the water glass in this setup, it can be placed either directly above the knife or slightly to the right, at about a 45-degree angle, like 1 o'clock relative to the plate. These are simple, functional layouts for everyday dining that still convey care.
Casual but considered. What about a step up?
For an informal or semi-formal table setting, there's more flexibility. It allows you to tailor the setting to your specific menu. The arrangement of utensils should be based on your personal style and, importantly, the specific courses you'll be serving.
So add things as needed.
Right. You have more leeway to consider what you have available in terms of utensils, dishware, and glassware, and arrange them aesthetically and functionally for the meal. This is where you might add a salad fork to the left of the dinner fork, or maybe that dedicated bread plate up and to the left, depending on your menu. A bit more elaborate, but still adaptable.
Makes sense. And then the big one, formal.
And then we have the formal table setting. This is the most precise and detailed arrangement involving additional utensils and glassware, designed for multi-course meals where each tool serves a specific purpose for a specific dish.
Sounds complicated.
It can seem daunting, but it's quite logical once you grasp the underlying principle. Here are the basics. Utensils order. The golden rule is to place utensils in the order of use, working from the outside in.
Outside in. Okay.
This means the utensils for the first course are placed furthest from the plate, and you simply work your way inward with each subsequent course. Soup spoon way out on the right if soup is first, then maybe the fish fork and knife closer in, then the main course fork and knife right next to the plate.
Got it. Use the outer ones first.
Exactly. Forks. All forks, with one key exception we'll get to, typically go to the left of the plate. Salad fork outside the dinner fork if salad comes first.
Forks left.
Knives and spoons. These go to the right of the plate. Remember, the blade of a knife always faces the plate, inward. Spoons go to the right of the knives.
Knives and spoons right. Blade in.
There's one notable exception to the left-right rule. The oyster fork. If you'll be serving oysters or other shellfish as an appetizer, this small, specialized fork is traditionally placed to the right of the entire setting, outside of the spoons.
Oyster fork breaks the rules. Goes on the right.
It's a unique historical placement that has simply stuck, kind of its own little spot. And a final, very practical golden rule. Only set what you'll use.
Ah, good point. Don't put out spoons if there's no soup.
Exactly. Don't include utensils you won't need for the meal. This can clutter the setting, create unnecessary visual noise, and potentially confuse guests. The formal setting is about precision, elegance, and anticipating each step of the meal, not about overwhelming the diner with too many options. Keep it relevant to the food being served.
Outside in, forks left, except oyster, knives, spoons right. Only what you need. Okay, that demystifies it a bit.
It's logical once you know the system. What an incredible journey we've taken today, haven't we? From those rough prehistoric shells and hollowed stones.
Right. Shells on sticks.
To the gleaming, precisely engineered flatware of our modern kitchens, and the exquisite artistic statements transforming tableware into gallery pieces. It truly highlights how deeply intertwined tableware is with human history, culture, and our most fundamental social interactions.
Yeah, it's way more than just stuff to eat with.
It's not just about eating, it's about how we connect, celebrate, express ourselves, and share life's moments, big and small.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? The next time you sit down for a meal, whether it's a quick breakfast or a formal dinner, I invite you to pause and consider the layers of history, engineering, and art resting before you.
Take a moment.
What does your choice of dinnerware, flatware, or glassware say about the occasion you're celebrating? Or perhaps, what might it reveal about the ongoing silent evolution of human connection through shared meals? It's a tradition as old as humanity itself, constantly refined and reinvented.
Indeed. I encourage you to actively observe the tableware you encounter from now on, whether it's in your own home, at a restaurant, or even when you see it featured in art or historical exhibits. Notice the materials, the design, the way it feels in your hand.
Pay attention to the details.
And consider its intended purpose and the story it tells. This conscious observation can truly foster a newfound appreciation for these often overlooked objects that shape our daily lives in ways we rarely consider.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. How do these seemingly everyday items, designed fundamentally for sustenance, also serve as silent storytellers of our past, present, and future traditions, shaping not just how we eat, but how we connect, celebrate, and define our culture, one meal at a time?
Something to chew on.
Think about that the next time you pick up a fork.